X-Men Apocalypse continues the soft reboot that Days of Future Past started to undo the fuck-ups of X-Men 3: The Last Stand. Hey there guys, how are you? It's been a few weeks and I missed you, but I'm here now to talk about a movie that came out 2 weeks ago, but I don't care. It doesn't matter. Why does it matter? Movies live on forever. There are emotions and feelings that go inside of our soul when we watch them, and whenever I want to release those emotions and feelings, well, I'm going to do it when I feel like it. And today is that day. And before we dive into X-Men Apocalypse, I very quickly wanted to let you guys know that this video is brought to you by Star Trek Wrath of Gems. Star Trek Wrath of Gems is a free downloadable game, which I'll put the link down below in the description box. Go there, you can download it, it's free. It's like, why would you not do it? And at the end of the video, I'll talk more about Star Trek Wrath of Gems. By the way, Star Trek Enterprise right there. Alright, so X-Men Apocalypse. This was one of my most anticipated movies of 2016. I loved X-Men Days of Future Past. I love how it basically rebooted the franchise of X-Men movies to go into a different direction. They could interject new characters, new storylines, and have younger X-Men to carry on the franchise because they knew some of the existing characters were getting a little too old, like Hugh Jackman was on his way out of playing Wolverine. And with all that said, I would say X-Men Days of Future Past is a much more rewatchable film than X-Men Apocalypse. But we might be getting ahead of ourselves. This new X-Men movie mostly consists of new characters playing younger versions of X-Men, and a few standout characters are Cyclops and Sophie Turner as Jean Grey. And the two most prominent returning roles are Michael Fassbender as the badass middle-controlling Magneto, and James McAvoy as Professor X. And this time around, the X-Men must unite to take down the big, blue, badass killing machine, Apocalypse, who just wants to destroy everything for the sake of destroying everything. His name pretty much sums it up. Apocalypse. That's what he wants to do. Why? I don't know. Now, as far as the character of Apocalypse goes, I don't mind that he was a little bit one-dimensional at times, and some of his motivations just simply didn't make any sense. He just wanted to cleanse the Earth to start over, but start over from where? How? And there's also one point in this movie where he could have just destroyed the planet Earth, but he doesn't do that. If you guys have already seen the movie, you remember that one scene where he basically controls all the nuclear weapons? It's just like, why didn't you use those? Like, you could have just used them. Oh, you're not going to? So he waits and does the most convoluted plan he possibly could to where you can fail at doing it, but he does it anyway. Now, continuing on with the character of Apocalypse, he was played by Oscar Isaac, Poe Dameron from the new Star Wars movie, and I thought as far as his acting ability goes throughout this movie as Apocalypse, it was fine, I bought into it, but at times, there are scenes where Apocalypse, this big, badass, imposing character from the comics and cartoons, is standing in these scenes, confronting the good guys, and you're just like, you don't look very scary. Like, you just don't. For example, there are several scenes in this movie where Apocalypse is standing side by side with Storm, and he's about 2 inches taller than her, and you're just like, that just doesn't look very menacing or imposing to me. And this is just a really random thought, but throughout the movie I was thinking, why didn't they use some camera tricks, some camera magic to make this character look more imposing than he is? I'm not saying you gotta CGI every scene that he's in, but do what Christopher Nolan did with Tom Hardy, who played Bane in The Dark Knight Rises. Here's what I'm talking about. Actor Tom Hardy in real life is only about 5'9", and actor Christian Bale, who plays Batman, is about 6 foot tall. Batman shouldn't be taller than Bane. So what they did to compensate for that difference in The Dark Knight Rises is they used low camera angles and tricks and just little things to make the character look bigger and more imposing than he really is. And I would have liked to seen some of that go down in X-Men Apocalypse. So yeah, to sum up the character of Apocalypse, he essentially had the exact same plan that Ultron did in Avengers 2. Now, one of my favorite things about X-Men Apocalypse is it takes place during the early 1980s. And there's just something about the 1980s, especially in movies, that just makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. I can't quite pinpoint what it is, but when I close my eyes, I just see Karate Kid and Johnny from Cobra Kai, sweep the leg, yes sensei. Yeah, I just really like 1980s movies, and I think that time period works perfectly for soft reboots such as the X-Men movies, because now you have these younger characters in the 1980s, does a little something different than other superhero movies are doing today, set in modern day times, and I like that aspect of it. Now, let me quickly break down a few negatives I had with this film, and one of them is, this movie takes about 2 hours to get going. The first 2 hours of this movie are essentially a recruiting movie. It's not X-Men Apocalypse, it's X-Men recruiting. That's what's happening. Because you have the character Jennifer Lawrence, and yeah, I said the character of Jennifer Lawrence, because she's not Mystique in this movie. Well, she is for about 4 minutes, but it's just Jennifer Lawrence walking around in a leather jacket for 2 hours. And then on the other side of that, you have the villainous character of Apocalypse wandering around looking for 4 horsemen that he can control and enslave and over-empower to back him up when he wants to destroy shit at the end of the movie. So yeah, 2 hours dedicated to that. Now, in all fairness, during those 2 hours, there are a few subplots along the way, and my favorite one, I would say, deals with Magneto, and he's trying to be a good guy. He's trying to flip over a new leaf. Is that a saying? Flip over a new leaf? I don't know. Who the fuck came up with that? I'm not quite sure. But Magneto is trying to be a good guy. He's trying to start a family, do what's right, and I would say that's my favorite subplot throughout this entire movie. It really felt like Bryan Singer went for it. He definitely added a dramatic touch to the character this time around. And with Magneto, it's like the guy just wants to be good, but he can't quite do it because there's always a reason backing up why he wants to do evil, bad, villainous shit. And in X-Men Apocalypse, when that bad shit goes down to the character of Magneto, you really buy into his motivations of why he just simply can't be a good guy. He has to do bad, villainous shit. For the first time ever, I would probably say I understand. Because if that happened to me, yeah, I'm gonna take some metal shit and crash it through people's skulls, and it's just like, fuck you, society! Now, let's randomly enjoy this picture of Olivia Munn, who plays Psylocke. Oh my god, look at those leather purple... I'll just make this part of the video very quick. As far as Olivia Munn goes as Psylocke, the character was written to be one-dimensional. She's just kind of a villainous chick who has no emotion. And as far as Olivia Munn's acting ability goes, it just didn't feel like anything that she did I could buy into. There's one scene where she flies off the top of this really tall thing and she's sliding down, and it's just like, it's so green screened out, and the look on her face, she just looks bored. She's just like, does that look weird? Now, before I give you guys my final flicking thoughts on X-Men Apocalypse, there are 2 scenes that really stand out in this movie to me, and they're both almost too short for their own good. I wanted more of each one of these scenes. Now, the first scene I'm talking about, and if you guys don't want to hear any spoilers, we'll skip to this timestamp in the video and skip over those spoilers. Did you do it? Okay, spoiler alert, it's Wolverine! The fucking guy comes back for a 5-minute cameo scene. It's brutal, it's badass. It takes place at Alkaline? Those are batteries. Alkaline? Takes place at a lake. Anyways, I really like the way that this scene was done because you have Stryker and he's finally trying to make Wolverine into Weapon X, and we're not talking about Wolverine origins and how terribly that was done. This is how it should have been done because you have him released from his cage and Wolverine just starts running around berserker attacking everyone like a fucking animal, and he's raging out. And then I just really liked that. It was 5 minutes, but it's all you needed from the character of Wolverine because it had such an impact on the entire movie, and it just might be setting up a future Wolverine movie. And the other scene I really enjoyed in X-Men Apocalypse was the scene with Quicksilver. Once again, he steals the entire movie with a 4-minute scene, and it's all done in slow-mo where he's running around, he's saving people, just explosions are happening. And it just, there's something so intriguing about just watching this. It's just like, I want another 30 minutes of this, or put more Quicksilver into your X-Men movies. And once again, this time around for the Quicksilver slow-mo scene, they used time period correct music, because in Days of Future Past, they used 1970s music. And this time around, they used the song Sweet Dreams of Mine. And I just, yeah, 1983 at its best, and it really worked well with this scene. Now here are my final flicking thoughts on X-Men Apocalypse. I overall really enjoyed this movie. I was entertained by this movie, and as far as an X-Men movie goes, where it actually stays true to the roots, you have Cyclops becoming the leader once again, you have Jean Grey, you have all the characters coming together. I really thought it was a really solid X-Men movie, and one of the better X-Men movies of the entire franchise. And throughout the movie, there are some very entertaining, dramatic scenes where you buy into what's happening. There's some very brutal, badass action sequences that are really well done and really cool. And the movie also has a lot of CGI, and I'm okay with that. But there are some scenes in this movie that took me out of it because it was so terribly done. I couldn't believe they actually put that into the movie. For example, there's one scene where the shit's going down and everything's exploding and falling apart, and you see these shipping containers and they're all falling over, and it looked like a PS2 video game cutscene. And I would say for me, the most positive thing about this movie is it does a phenomenal job of establishing these new younger X-Men characters for future X-Men movie installments. So if the next X-Men movie continues from where this one left off on, I'd love to see that, because there are things that they finally do where I'm just like, yes, you implemented that. I can't wait to see that next time. So X-Men Apocalypse, It definitely had some pacing issues and needed to be tweaked a little bit to make it just a more solid, entertaining movie that moves along quicker. But I'm gonna give the movie X-Men Apocalypse, a solid B. It's a fun time, and I think it's one of the better X-Men movies as far as making X-Men finally feel like X-Men. Alrighty, Star Trek Wrath of Gems is a free downloadable game. Like I said, the links are down below in the description box. You click them, you download it, it's completely free. The game Star Trek Wrath of Gems has a really cool RPG vibe where you can get into the characters. By the way, look at this. Look at this. Look what I can do. Huh? Can you guys do that? Let me know down below if anybody can do that. Took me 17 years to develop that. So if you're a hardcore Star Trek fan, or a Trekkie as they call it, download the game. It's completely free. If you like the characters, you like the storylines, they're all interjected into this game. It's a good time. So once again, the links are all down below. Click them, check them out. Anyway, that covers everything in this video. That was my thoughts on X-Men Apocalypse. I want to destroy everything because I'm the bad guy of the movie. It's like, why do bad guys just want to destroy everything? Like, yes, do I want to wipe out half of humanity? Maybe, but the other half, I kind of need them around. I need servants. Like, who's going to bring me a cocktail or a Monster Energy drink when I'm sitting by the pool just doing evil shit and relaxing? What was I talking about? Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching the video, guys. Leave your thoughts, your opinions down below. Tell me what you thought about the movie, and tell me what you want to see in upcoming future X-Men movies. Just put them in their costumes. Just give me that. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. That way, I can see you next time.